So welcome everybody to the latest Jodel webinar with the amazing Jacobo Priegue. We are actually recording this on the 9th of June, 2026. The official webinar that we tried to do yesterday, unfortunately, there was a technical issue, and that is why we decided that it was best to re-record this morning. So we will, as per normal, send the recording to all the registrants. I'll publish it on my YouTube channel, etc. But we thought, to be fair to everybody, we'd do a much better job if we just re-recorded it and just go through the same sequence that we went through last night. And I will then, at the end of the recording, ask Jacobo the same questions that were asked yesterday. So you'll get the answers still, and we'll be able to share the recording far and wide. So I can't wait to get started because I'm very, very impressed, genuinely impressed with what Jacobo has built here, Grade 9 school. So I'll just start off with a nice introduction. So Jacobo is a language teacher. He's a practicing language teacher, full-time language teacher at Oundle School in the UK. And he's built this platform essentially as a passion project, I would say, to start off with, just to help his students. And he realized that in no time at all, actually, it could be a lot bigger than this. And he could then make something which could actually be helpful for all language teachers around the world. But there is a real focus, as you can see from the title, beyond ChatGPT, a teacher-built GCSE languages platform for practice, feedback, and engagement. There's a real focus on the new GCSE. And I think that, well, you'll see in a moment when we get started that the platform that he's built is absolutely gold dust for GCSE language teachers, but could be useful as well with Key Stage 3. And as I've said, relevant to language teachers from all over the world. So before I gush too much, I'm going to hand over to Jacobo. Thank you so much for your time showing us about Grade 9 school, and over to you. I'll turn my video and my camera off right now, and I'll come back for the Q&A at the end. Thanks, Jacobo.
Thank you so much, Joe, and thanks to everyone who signed up for the webinar. I think the response was very impressive and beyond what I expected, with 270 registrations. So thank you very much, everyone, for showing interest. I tried to make that worthwhile for you. So the reason I built this is because I needed more practice for my students, and I mean there's only so much a teacher can physically mark, or in terms of, for example, essays, or there's only so many speaking mocks we can realistically do. With this platform, that's bypassed. We can set as much practice as we like for our students without adding more to our workload. So I think it's great for teachers. It doesn't replace the teacher. The teacher is always in the loop. We need to oversee everything. We need to monitor the AI marking, and everything is run by us. Okay, I think our professional judgment needs to prevail at all times, and I don't think AI will replace that at least anytime soon. So more practice, more meaningful practice, more better feedback in terms of extensive feedback. You will see that the feedback given by the platform is very extensive. So it's beyond what we teachers can realistically do. We cannot write a two-pager feedback for each essay. That's really not realistic. Probably better feedback is not the right wording, because I think teachers' feedback is still the best. But this is a tool to aid that. And then less workload, or at least not adding more to our plates. So the key is more meaningful practice for pupils without adding more to teachers' plates. And we'll see what the workflow looks like. This is what I use. I create a resource based on a topic. All the topics in the AQA syllabus are embedded in the platform. So rather than you having to feed your materials, all the vocabulary, all the frequency vocabulary is there. Not only AQA, is the 1700 most frequent words in Spanish, French, and German. I broke that into smaller chunks of 40 to 50 words each. And based on those smaller chunks, the lessons, the prep, the speaking practice, everything is created around that without teachers having to input everything from scratch. So the first thing, you create a lesson, then you can teach the lesson live using the slide player native in the platform. You will see how it works, but it's got some really useful features like listening activities generator and live mini whiteboards that use automatic marking based on the slide content. Then you can set practice. It could be in the form of an assignment, listening, writing, speaking. You can set it as, for example, vocabulary tests, conjugation tests. It's got a really nice feature that is called assessment modes that blocks the pupil's screen in full screen. If they exit it, they need to restart the assessment. So that prevents, I'm sure that they can find ways around it to cheat, but it bypasses or it prevents at least 80%, 90% of the cheating, because they cannot switch tabs. It will reset the practice. Then feedback is AI supported, both for marking and speaking. The rest of activities, if it's worksheets, like reading worksheets, vocabulary builders, listening activities, reading activities, those are automatically marked by the platform without using AI, okay? AI is focused on speaking and writing activities. And then finally, track. You can track your pupil's progress. It's got built-in analytics, gradebook that you can use and export to Excel. Right, so I'm going to show you what the lesson generator looks like. I think it's best if I explain it from the app itself. So this is the dashboard, okay? You will see lots of different buttons. I want to think it's quite intuitive, but I also acknowledge there's lots of stuff. But if you read, I think it's quite straightforward. Whiteboard, scheme of work, block tests, gradebook, printables, workbooks, learning, leaderboard, and shop. And then you got AI Hub. This is where all the marking happens, all the AI marking happens. Pupil progress with all the analytics and performance, and lessons. This is where you generate the lessons and where your generated lessons are stored. So if we click here now, and you click on new lesson, you can select multiple topics, but we'll just stick to one. I will choose higher. Then you can see the menu broken down by themes, theme 1, theme 2, and then the subtopics. I'm going to do, for example, cinema and TV. It automatically picks one grammar focus that you can change however you like. I'm going to leave it as it is. And then you can change the skill focus, okay? I'm going to keep it imbalanced. You click on next, and then there's a menu with the final tasks. So the way the generator works is by you give it a final task, you give it a topic, and based on that final task, it scaffolds all the lesson to help pupils get to those outcomes, to get to that final task, and to tackle it successfully. So I'm going to choose GC photocard, for example. Click on next. Again, if you're missing something here, I'm very happy to add all the types of final tasks. Actually, lots of the features we've got in the website are result of teachers requesting them. So if somebody is missing something, or if somebody thinks, oh, it'd be really nice to have this other feature, I'm happy to build it if it's something that's feasible and something that actually helps the workflow. So I click on next. Then this is just suggestion of activities that you can change, okay? But by default, based on the final tasks, it gives you a selection of 6 activities. You can add more if you like. I'm gonna leave it in 6 so the AI doesn't take too long to generate. You can change any of them. For example, I'm gonna change this one. I'm gonna add syntax, essentially sentence scrambles. I'm gonna change this one and add, for example, running dictation. I'm gonna change this one with, for example, partnerships. Yeah. Okay. Stop the order a bit. If you're happy with the selection, I want to just pause here a second to show you the sheer volume of activities from what you can choose. Write and roll. This is like one pen, one die. Phrase heist, translation, knots and crosses. There's lots and lots and lots of activities you can choose from. Okay, so I'm going to go back and just click on next, and there's the final stage. You can fine tuning. You can choose the number of items per activity. So, for example, if you want there to be more sentences for the random dictation, you just click on more. You can just change them all to 5. Yeah, I want to just leave it in 6. And then you can give more custom instructions. For example, you can ask it to focus on reflexive verbs or specific tense, specific set of vocabulary, whatever. Okay. Now you click on generate. This consumes 20 AI credits, and you will see something like this with very nice quotes, depending on the language you use. So this can take up to 2 or even 3 minutes. So I'm gonna cut that and show you one that's already generated with similar parameters. So it always generates something like this for the first slide. A question will be the title. There will be a date which is not hard coded. Okay, so if I show this, actually I generated this slide yesterday, and it shows today's date, as you can see. So it shows the date when you're playing, not the day when you actually make it. It will show one photo, the objectives. Okay, and then the next slide is also by default. It's a selection of 12 words with the English translation. Okay, you can click on reveal all if you like, which is one at a time. If you press on right arrow key, or if you got a clicker, it works beautifully with a clicker. It even blocks the screen if you press B or the block button in the clicker, and it's got some fireworks as well if you press F, which the kids love. Right. So the next slide it generates is with the question from the title. It's always the same question. You get a sentence grid, okay, with chunks. So pupils can, from the first minute, they can ask the question to each other and give articulate answers. You can click on reveal all, so we see the English, and they make sure everything they're saying makes sense. Okay. The next slide is the grammar. If you selected a grammar focus, in this case is the regular preterite with all the examples, and then a little grammar activity based on that. Okay, and now it's the actual activities you have selected. So this repetition, you basically read a sentence. This is modeling for the pupils to repeat. You can show the translation. You can ask them to translate. So there's several possibilities. I think this adapts nicely to each individual teacher's style. Then the running dictation. Obviously, you won't show this, so you block the screen. You will need to print this out and paste this somewhere away from the kids, so they run and come back and dictate the sentences from memory to the peers. You will see how we can download this easily with a download PDF tool. This is the other activities, a little reading task, then the sentence scrambler, then creative continuations, budget shapes, and then the final task, okay, with the useful PALMS acronym for pupils to describe the photos using the acronym people, action, location, mood, and say more. Some people use season to describe the weather instead of say more. But you can just easily edit that if you don't like it by clicking on here. Yeah, edit slide content. You can say, for example, season. Yeah, add, for example, weather, expressions, and clothing, for example. If you're happy with what it looks like, just click on finish, edit, and that's it. And then the final slide will be the plenary. Okay. So some of the slides are there by default, like the title slide, vocabulary, sentence builder, grammar activity, and the plenary. And the rest is a selection of activities that you can choose before the lesson is generated. Okay. So we generated the presentation, and you will be able to see a front of class slide player like we've seen. From there, you can also generate listening activity. I want to show you how. So you go to the place where you want to insert the listening activity. For example, before the running dictation, you click on this icon here, add listening activity. And then there's a selection of the listening activities you have already generated. If you don't have any, you click on generate, or if you're not happy with them, you click on generate, and we're going to do that to show you what it looks like. So you can choose between worksheet and dictation. The topic is selected by default, and the tier is selected by default based on the lesson you have generated. So click on next, then you choose the size of the text. You can also choose the focus. For example, you can add heavy focus on, I don't know, verbs, wherever. It generates the text fairly quickly, as you could see. If you're happy with it, you click on approve and continue. If you prefer to edit, you can do that as well. As you can see, there's lots of portraits, which is the focus of the lesson, and is entirely focused on films, cinema, genres, and all that. Okay, if you're happy with that, approve and continue, and then you select some activities. You can select also questions per activity type. I think 6 is what works the best. That's why it's there by default, because it's the layout is nicer in the slide player. So if I select, for example, true, false, select or apply and match up, for example, and you can also choose for example, the level, stretch, standard, or gentle. I'm gonna go for stretch, then generate activities, and this will take a little longer because quite a lot of elements that it needs to generate. Well, that was surprisingly quick. So I'm gonna, without further ado, generate the audio. I think that the best voice is female 2 out of the 4 that you can choose, but you can play with them and choose the one you like best. The audio is always quite quickly to generate, as you could see. You click.
Me encanta el cine, pero ahora prefiero ver una buena serie en la televisión. En mi opinión, la telerrealidad y los concursos no son interesantes
You can toggle the speed to slow.
porque no tienen imaginación. Sin embargo, los documentales nacionales son...
Okay. You can even lower it further to not 5 if you like. But in my experience, if a pupil cannot cope with not 75, it doesn't matter how much further you lower it. It will be probably an issue with vocabulary or structures. So I think the slow button is probably the best for supporting the low ability pupils. If you're happy with everything, And with the activities is generated, you just click on Save and Insert into Deck, and it will give you the option to share with the community library for all the teachers who have premium access can see your generated listening activity as well. So you will see something like this. As you can see, it's integrated nicely in your slides. You can play it.
Me encanta el cine, pero ahora prefiero ver una buena
Lower the
serie en la
speed.
televisión. En mi opinión, la telerrealidad y los concursos no s-
And then by clicking on Next, it will show the answers. Okay, something like this. It's all based on the listening audio. Then the multiple choice, again, if you click on them, it will show them. Okay. And finally, the matchup, which is nicely color-coded. As you can see, you can access the player in any of the listening activities you have created. I'm going to show you now. Well, actually, I'm going to go back to the presentation, to the PowerPoint, for you to see what's next. So these are the printouts, the handouts you can give to pupils. You can access this very easily. You can print them out from the presentation player, and I'm going to show you how. So there's several options. If you click on download PDF, standard prints absolutely everything. So I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to show you just how fast it generates. Okay, so this is all the content of the lesson, including the listening activities we just created. Okay, right. Obviously, you won't need or you won't want to print that out fully for every single lesson. So there's a custom option, there's a listening only option, and there's a light option that only prints a few slides by default. I want to show you which ones. So the grammar and the activities where the pupils need to write something. Okay. And obviously the running dictation for you to print and stick on the wall somewhere away from the pupils for them to do the activity. Okay, so this is not really a handout. This is just for the teacher, print out for the teacher. Okay, right. So that's the printout. You can download the slides as well. Okay, they look nice, but they don't look as nice as the platform player. Okay, so I would recommend that you use the platform player, but if you want to use PowerPoint and just like that, you get a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, as you can see, it's quite pretty. You may need to edit out some stuff, and the other thing you will need to do is add animations for the answers, because it will include the answers to the questions by default. Okay. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Right. So we've seen the functionality of the presentation player, but there's a few more things I would like to show you from there. So when you run the lesson from the lesson player, you will by default enable. I mean, you will enable. It will be available to you, not enabled. The live mini whiteboards, which I think is a great feature. So this is what it looks like from the host perspective. Okay, you will see the screen, and when the pupils submit their answers, it will look something like this. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when you host it. So you go to, for example, the center scramblers, or it works from any slide, okay? But I think the most visual one It's probably the center scramblers, if I can find them. And I think they're probably by the end. Yeah, there it is. So from here, you click on this button, open mini whiteboard. When you click on it, you will see something like this. So the first option is probably the best one. With this one, the pupils will get the questions on the screens, they will type their answers, and they will get feedback in real time. And you will see all their answers on your own screen as a host, okay? The next one is the possibility to handwrite their answers and then show them to you. The app will, by default, display a nice whiteboard frame for them, so they can show the handwritten answers to you. You can set it manually if you want different answers or different questions. And then there's the classic whiteboard, which is just the pupils using a pen or the fingers to write on the screen. Okay, so let's go with the first one. You will see something like this with the questions and answers preloaded from the slide. Okay, so you don't really need to do anything unless you want to. So if you want to edit it, you can do it. If you're happy with this, let's go ahead. Just let the number of grades the pupils get per question. So this is the website currency that pupils who do lots of practice can use to buy avatars, classroom perks, and stuff like that. They absolutely love this. It messes with the reward system, so it's quite nice. It's part of the gamification of learning, right? So you create a question, and you can see something like this. Okay, I think the word película is missing here because this slide deck I used yesterday, and I was demonstrated how to edit. So I edited película out in the webinar, but you will see the next question is perfectly fine. Okay. Ella recomendó una serie romántica. Okay, the pupils' answers will show here, and there will be a leaderboard based on the speed at which they submitted. Okay, right. So I think you get the idea. It will look like something like this. Okay, this is the leaderboard and the pupils' answers on the host screen. So this is very engaging for them, as you can imagine, and it's also a great tool for us teachers to check for understanding. This was inspired by a session I attended by Jonathan Manford, who came to my school and taught extensively about the use of whiteboards and how useful they are. I mean, all of us probably know about mini whiteboards and how good they are, but it was very eye-opening to see it firsthand, to see all the possibilities it has from somebody like Jonathan. Right. Right. So now I'm going to show you how to set structured practice quickly. There's lots of activities that are already embedded in the website. I'm actually going to show you how to create a class very quickly, which is actually explained in the interactive tutorial, which will trigger when you create an account. So you can access it here as well. You click on interactive tutorial, then you click on add class. You choose the name of the class, the level, sample grade 9 test 1. You choose the language, the level. Okay, I'm going to go for opposite, so it shows at the top, and then 0 personal data. Of course, the platform is fully GDPR compliant. I'm registered in the ICO. All the data is stored in the UK, but the only data that is stored is that test submissions, scores, and all the tracking data for teachers to be able to monitor pupils' progress. So no pupils' names, no pupils' emails, nothing, zero data from the pupils is required, okay? So then I click on Add, and the class will show at the top. I click on Manage, and then Add Students. Then you write the name of your students. You can copy paste, okay? If it's separated by tab or comma, the app will recognize that's name, surname, and password. You don't need to enter a password. So if I go for example, Jane and Matt and I don't know, Maria, and I click on import students, you will see something like this. It's blocked because the tutorial wants to take you to the next stage, which is to save as a PDF. So when you click on save as a PDF, it will download the names of your students, the username, which is hidden in this demo mode, and the password, which is also hidden in the demo mode. But you can have all your students in bulk there, ready to share with them nicely or to put on the board in your class. Okay. So now, how do we create an assignment? We click on Create Assignment. I'm going to select my grade 9 test class. I select the type of task. There's loads of things to choose from, but I will go with vocabulary units. So these are vocabulary builders that are based on the vocabulary sets I mentioned earlier. Flashcards are based on that. Vocabulary tests are based on that as well. So there's zero input from the teacher required, okay? So vocabulary unit, you select the unit. They are all preloaded here nicely. So you can select anything. We can do, I don't know, something about holidays, for example, holidays and tourism. Then you select the due date. Then you select assign task. You can change some of the activities. You don't need to select all 10. It selects 10 activities by default. You can click on assign task, and that's done. Click on finish tutorial, and you will see how to share that piece of prep nicely with your class by clicking on, for example, Teams, which is what I personally use. So if I go to create an assignment, it will give you a suggested title that you can change. For example, 50 minutes. You can add points. I mean, this is Teams stuff you will all be familiar with. It works all the same with Google Classroom as well. Okay. Right. So that's how you create a task. I'm going to create a different one for you to see the possibilities. So if I go back here, I select the class as well. I go to the GCSE type of task. I'm going to generate something with AI. For example, you saw the listening activity. I'm going to generate AI speaking activity. You can change the exam board. It will remember your choice. Okay, so if you change to Edexcel, it will stay Edexcel until you change it back. You can choose the tier and then the type of activity: photocard, read aloud, or role play, read aloud, or photocard. Then you choose the topic. Let's do something about school, for example. Click on generate, set the deadline. And just like that, it generates your activity with the 2 photos the pupils need to describe and 7 follow-up questions. Okay. You click on assign, share with the community if you want to. And just like that, you have shared the activity with your class. Okay. Again, you can choose to share it via Teams, create as an assignment or as a group chat, wherever you prefer. I'm going to just leave it like that. And right, so that's how you create Assignments, then most of them, if they are not AI generated, or sorry, if it's not essays or speaking assignments, the rest of them will be automatically marked. So it will be low stakes, instant feedback for your pupils, which works beautifully for SEND pupils, particularly with ADHD pupils. I'm talking from my experience. Pupils with ADHD become obsessed with the rewards and how to see the progress through, to get grades and everything the app has to offer. We can see that at the end if we get a chance. Right. So AI supported feedback. So it looks like this. I'm going to show you what it looks like from the platform. So, oh, 1 second. Right. So if you go to the AI hub, AI marking, and then all the pendant marking will show here. Okay. I've got nothing pendant right now, but I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done. So for example, I'm going to choose some photo card, this one. So 5 of my students have submitted this, and the feedback looks like this. You get the transcript. As you can see, it's very brief. They didn't span a lot on the answers. That's why they got low marks, in my opinion, probably generous. Then you get the descriptors, which are my own descriptors, the language analysis, the tenses used, error analysis as well, with distinction between major errors and minor errors, what went well, even better if. You can edit the feedback, you can regrade it if you like, and you can download all of your class in bulk for you to be able to paste them in your pupils' exercise books. Okay. I think you can also toggle the level of leniency between lenient, standard, and strict. It works with essays as well. And I'm going to show you what it looks like from a pupil's perspective. So the workbooks is everything the pupil can see about the work, about the progress. So if you go there, I want to choose one of my most active classes, any pupil, and then speaking assignments. This is what it looks like from their perspective. Okay, something like this, with the answers to the question, with the recording that you can play and listen to them, transcription, okay, analysis of language, tenses used, analysis of errors, what went well, even better if, key corrections, and rubric matching. And at the end, the score. You can download it if you got a premium account, and the pupils can download it as well. Okay. So I think this, I mentioned this at the beginning of the webinar, and this is more than we teachers can do. We cannot realistically do this if you have a class of, I don't know, 20 or even 30 year 11 students. You cannot go through this every single week. You cannot provide the same level of feedback to every single one of them every single week. With this platform, you can do it several times a week with each of them, which is great. It's a very good practice, and it covers a gap we language teachers had, which is speaking practice. And there's only so much we can do. Right. So I think okay, yeah. Analytics now. I want to show you what the analytics looks like. So if you click on pupil progress, you will see all your classes. You select one, and you will see all the activities your students have been doing across the year. Okay, and it compares, as you will see in a minute. So these are all the activities with the name of the activity. Okay, you can filter them out by categories. You can filter by pupils, and this is really cool because you see, I probably didn't choose the best pupil, but you can see the work against the rest of the class, okay, and their averages against the rest of the class, which I think is really cool for us when we write reports and also for inspections. If you can show this to an inspector, they will absolutely love it because they will see the pupil progress across the year. Another way to see this is in the gradebook. Okay, if you click here, it will go to the bottom of the page, and you will see the same class again, or the classes that you would like to see, and you will see all the activities they have been up to. You can select an individual student if you like. You can toggle by types of activities if you want to see, for example, how much they have been working on speaking or the progress on speaking. Okay, you can filter by skills and types of activities. Okay, some good stats here as well. Submitted work pending review, for example, average score of the class, completion rate. Don't be scared by this, is because I said lots and lots of practice for them to have variety. I didn't expect them to do everything. Okay, a number of submissions. As you can see, my lot have been working quite a lot on this. Right, so that's analytics. Then I'm going to show you the pupils dashboard very quickly because I'm mindful of the time. So this is what the pupils dashboard looks like. They can access all the activities from here. They cannot use AI at all. Pupils cannot use AI. When they submit an activity to be graded by AI, that needs to be run by the teacher. Okay, the teacher needs to decide whether the AI did a good work, and they need to approve the AI's output before the pupils can see that. So this is Cuaderno 9. It will be different in different languages. So this is the pupils workbook, which I showed you earlier when I showed you what the speaking activity looks like from the pupils side. But they can access vocabulary practice, grammar practice, games, arena, and the graded shop. I think I'm gonna show you the shop very quickly because the pupils love this. It's got music, which I'm gonna switch off. So they can buy avatars. Okay, they all have a price in grades. They obviously don't use real money. Okay, they use the currency the website gives them for completing tasks. That's the only way to get grades. Okay, this is not pay to win. This is a work or study to win. So they can buy any avatars. They can use them in the arena. They can see the stats. Okay, so they really love this. They can also buy perks. For example, they can freeze the streak if they have, for example, 2 weeks worth of work and they don't want to lose it because of a day off. They can freeze it. They got mystery boxes. They got badges. They got fortune wheels and homework pass. For example, as you can see, it's very expensive. They need to work a lot to be able to get a homework pass. And you choose whether to enable it or not when you set an assignment. Okay, so that's something they really love for obvious reasons. And finally, I think I'm gonna show you the how to set a live game. It's got live games, so you host them in front of the class. The pupils join using a code, and then they complete work. It could be typing, for example. translation to words, but there's so many possibilities. So for example, if I go to live, host game, there's 8 different modes, okay? Each of the modes allows either flashcards, which is basically enter the target language via multiple choice or via typing. I think typing is most useful. I think multiple choice is probably just gaming. So I always use typing. Verb drill, okay, which uses the same principle. They get a pronoun, a tense, and an infinitive, and they have to type, or multiple choice the response. And you get mixed practice, which lets you select a topic and then a variety of activities. Okay, for example, scrambled sentences, or I don't know, gap fill, anything. Okay, anything that's already in the platform. Translations, like exam style translations, and they do it within the game. So they love it. They ask me to actually do this type of work, and they actually do a lot of work, because the more translations they get done, the more points they get, and if they win, they get grades. Okay, right. Okay, I think that was pretty much it. So this is both for individual teachers and departments. You can create a free account to try it out, with one class of up to 30 pupils. For departments, there's also plans that's 99 per teacher a year with the department license, but lower pricing for departments of more than 5 teachers. And you can use the Jodale 5 code for the 5% discount of the first year access. This works for what, it doesn't matter if you buy the whole year in advance or if you buy month to month. The 5% is applied month to month for the first 12 months as well. Okay, so please do request a code for your department if you are interested. I don't think you will regret it. It's working beautifully for me and for all the schools that are already using it. I think that was it. So if you would like to ask any questions, I think we got questions from the webinar attendees.
Yep. So you've covered some of the questions already, which is wonderful. So we've got enough time, I think, for a couple of questions. First of all, I'm just blown away by your platform. I think it's absolutely amazing, and it's obviously so much work. So just thank you on behalf of all language teachers. Yeah, you're an absolute star. Right. So the first question is, can you upload a student speaking exam to the platform to generate transcript or feedback, etc., or is there a limit, time limit, e.g., 2 minutes maximum audio you can upload? So these are all questions that we had last night, which we weren't able to do. So we're doing them again now.
Yeah, you can upload the audio, but there's a limit. And it's the same limit that's embedded in the platform for each activity. So you can upload an 8-minute photocard activity. You can upload I think it's 2 or 3 minute role play, and so on. So you need to break them down into the different tasks. So it would work for marking mocks, but you will need to break it down into the different tasks. If it's something the community really requests, I can look into maybe enable a full mock module or something like that.
Talking of mocks, actually, a really good question came up yesterday, which was, is there any plan to add full mock exam papers for GCSE?
Yeah, you can create block tests within the platform using the resources the platform already has. But I would be hesitant to include past papers because they copyright it. So even if you only change the texts, the structure of the past paper is copyrighted. So I may be able to create a different or a hybrid type of past paper that doesn't adhere 100% to any exam board. That is like grade 9 house past paper, but it won't be exactly the same as Edexcel or AQA, I'm afraid.
No problem at all. Okay, that's lovely. And then I think the last question that we had, well, there's sort of 2 questions which are similar. which are the following. Is it only GCSE in mainland UK, or is CCEA, e.g. Northern Ireland exam board included? And also, can the content be adapted to junior cycle or leaving cert in Ireland as well?
Yeah, so it's uh, focused on GCSE in the UK. But I think all the topics are very transferable because it's if you have a look at the syllabus, it's always holidays, school, free time activities. I mean, it's always the same stuff we've been teaching for 20 years. So yes, it's focused on GCSE and Key Stage 3 in the UK, but it's very, very usable for everybody else. And I'm thinking about adding an option to include the teacher's own vocabulary sets as well, probably in the mid-term, not in the short term for now.
Amazing. Amazing. So thank you so much for your time, Jacobo. Thank you ever so much for all the questions that we had last night. I'm very grateful to you for re-recording this. I think it's such a wonderful platform. We want to let people know about it. And so I'll be publishing the recording on my YouTube channel as per normal. And yeah, just what a wonderful tool. I'd encourage everyone to reach out to Jacobo if you have any questions. He will, I'm sure, come back to you straight away. Probably, if you have a sensible suggestion on an activity type, he could consider building that into the platform as well. So don't be afraid to ask for a particular exercise type that you particularly like doing with your students. And if it fits the flow, as he said, I'm sure he'd be willing to consider adding it as well. So thank you so much again, finally, for showing grade 9 school to everybody. I really hope we get many people signing up to it, trying out the free version. But then if you want those extra features, those extra credits to sign up for a premium account, it's really an awesome tool that you've made here.
Thank you so much, Joe, and thank you for your time.
You're welcome.